Promos have boomed, Prismatic has dipped. What's going on with Pokemon card pricing? 6 months ago it was all about Surging Sparks. 3 months ago, Prismatic. But last week, something weird was happening. Promos from the middle era, not modern, not vintage, suddenly began spiking. Big shout out to Corbin Hosler, who wrote this great article on TCGPlayer breaking down the market trend. So be sure to check out that article and give him a big shout out for writing this piece. Today we're diving into why older Pokemon from like the X and Y era, specifically promo cards, are spiking all of a sudden. What's crashing Prismatic Evolutions, or if you can even call it really a crash, and which cards I think have a possibility of moving upwards. Including one of the weirdest cards that's doing well right now, and it's a trio of baby Pokemon. Okay, let's start off with the king, Charizard EX. This promo exclusive to the blue and red collection box, it hovered around 35, 45 for years. Hasn't had much movement. Until 6 months ago, it slowly started climbing up. Now it's sitting around $100 for a near mint. But it's not just Charizard. It's the entire starter trio that's taken off. Blastoise EX went from $70 to $150. Venusaur went from $110 to $150 in just 1 week. These cards were released in 2016. They were widely available, so everyone had the chance to get them. And yet, today, it's the perfect storm of nostalgia, low population, as well as everyone getting super excited about the Mega Series coming back. Another card that ended up doing real well is the Shaymin EX from Roaring Skies. Roaring Skies was one of the sets that got hit with a heavy reprint. I don't know if you guys were around back then, but Roaring Skies was very hard to find, and prices were astronomical when it came out. But then, Pokemon ended up reprinting it like crazy. That's what I've been telling everybody. Get ready. Reprints will come. When there's a shortage, Pokemon will reprint. But this was a card that got flatlined because of how much they printed. Quick note for all you guys who are listening and watching. My throat is funny. I've been sick for like 2 weeks. We did a new setup and everything too. So I'm kind of rushing this video a little bit more. That's why you're seeing me watch the script. My apologies. But I've been sick for 2 weeks and I've ran out all my backup videos to post. So pardon the voice. Pardon the maybe lopsided setup and me having to look at the script a little more. So my apologies. We have the Togepi, Cleffa, and Jigglypuff that's sitting around 60. That was sitting around 65. Now it's sitting around 170. Completely beautiful card. We have the Charizard and Braixen doubled this month. Gengar Mimikyu went up by 15%. I don't know if I'd specifically call these spikes, as it was a slow climb. I'd call it more like a stealthy approach. No influencer was really pushing them. No big reprint came out. No big buyout happened. These cards simply just started climbing up in price, which makes sense. X and Y is coming up on how old now? 15 years? Something like that? Now, there's a few cards that are not looking good right now. That is the Vaporeon EX. Went from $350 to under $300. Sylveon dropped below $500. And Espeon and Glaceon are both down 10%. Prismatic Evolution had an insane hype. A lot of scarcity, but now we're starting to see the prices where it was sitting where people didn't want to buy start climbing down because more and more products getting out there. More and more people are opening stuff up. More and more people want to sell. So we'll slowly see that price start climbing down. Now, what we're seeing now is fascinating. First, hype drove everything up. Then attention moved backwards to the vintage stuff and people started buying that up. Now we're seeing people navigate to this weird little middle ground. I think that has a lot to do with the X and Y the Mega series coming back in Legends EA, and we're going to be getting entire new sets of those. So I think that's what's really driving these XY sets up like crazy. I also think there's a nostalgia delay. People who were 10 years old when X and Y came out are now getting up to that 18, 19 years old. Those people who were 15 right? Around 25. Again, don't quote my math on this. I'm horrible at math. But we're seeing those people start getting back into the hobby, and they have money now. So they're buying those old cards that either they remembered or they couldn't get. So I think that has a lot to do with why we're seeing X and Y move up as well. Not simply the Mega Series coming back, but nostalgia is a heavy drug, guys. It's a heavy, heavy drug. Which of these promos do you still have? Do you have any of these sitting in your binders? Did you sell any recently? Are you keeping your eye on these, hoping they drop down in price soon? And which ones are you wanting to get next? Comment down below which one of these do you think are the best looking cards out of any of them, or if you have any of them in your collection currently. Again, pardon my voice. I appreciate you guys sticking around. We got some more things coming soon on Bulba cards. We got a new studio set up, more lighting. I got to get it arranged again. Been sick. Don't have much time to do that. And we got a lot more things coming up soon.